I think we won the league because I always was so consistent in playing the same players.
Yeah.
But I think that cost us in the end of March also the League Cup final.
How do you, as a coach and a leader, put your own grief to one side and handle the grief of a city effectively?
The grief of the city, that is what makes it for me so special to work at this club. The way they conducted the fans themselves after that tragedy, I can almost get emotional by thinking about it.
I'm only giving you one pick. The league this year or the Champions League? You can only win one.
If I can only win one?
I'm here this morning at Liverpool's training ground, very much looking forward to a sit down with Arne Slot. We're going to be discussing life before Liverpool, what was a very successful season last season, and his hopes and aspirations for this season. Lovely to see you. Thanks very much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Good morning, good morning.
After you. We've got it all marked for you. Thank you. First of all, Arne, thank you very, very much for taking the time to join us this morning. Really appreciate it, know how busy you are. I want to take you back, if I may. As a child, you come from a country, a renowned footballing country. Were you just brought into that straight away within the family?
Yeah, from the moment I could walk. I think even without me walking, I was already playing with a ball. I think back then it was, if you were a boy coming from countryside, I came from countryside, there was only one sport you could do, and that's football. And my family, my father was always played football. So it was quite logic that I would play football as well, that I could do it in the way I could, not so good, but good enough to be a professional. But it was always for sure that I and my brothers would go playing football.
Well, it's an interesting question. The one I would ask you, what would Arne Slot, the coach, think of Arne Slot, the player? That's a question I get a lot, and a question my father always answers with, "You would never play him," because that's fathers, though, isn't it?
Yeah. In my father's opinion, I didn't do that much without the ball.
Yeah.
And he might be right. I wouldn't say that I didn't do so much, but I was not so fast. And I always make the joke, some people said slow.
Yeah.
And if you are slow, you always tend to stay away 2 or 3 yards from the one you have to win the ball against. And that doesn't fans, my father, like to see players who attack the ball, try to win it, make sliding tackles, but that was not the player I was.
No.
Quite comfortable on the ball, because I was slow. Then you need to have some kind of quality to become a professional player. And I think on the ball, passing a ball with the right speed, right direction, that was probably the main quality I had. And I could still have a career in football, not on the highest levels, but a decent career.
Yeah, I think most dads would look at their sons and say they're less aggressive as they were. My dad certainly was. Now, you mentioned your playing career. What about coaching? When did you decide coaching was for you?
That was on a young age. Again, my father was a manager at amateur level. So I always saw him on Tuesday and Thursday nights when he had to lead a session. He was writing down the session, and I was always looking at him, what is he doing? So it had my interest already from a young age. When he was on holiday with my mom, I took over those sessions when I was 17, 18 years with grown-up players. So that happened a few times a year. So it always had my interest. And so during my playing career from 16 to 35, I was always interested what my managers did. So I wrote down a few things, never use it anymore, or have never used it at all. But I think it was always quite clear to me that I wanted to go into management. And all of my teammates that I played with would tell you now, that was
made for you.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure that he would go into management.
Feyenoord. Great success at Feyenoord, won the league. At what point did you feel you'd achieved enough there and you were ready to take the next step?
I think when we won the league, that was after my second season. I had some chances to go abroad as well. And then I felt there's still more to achieve over here. I can leave this club in an even better place than at that moment of time. I could have worked there for 2, 3, 4, 5 more years because it was a fantastic club to work with the staff, with the building where we worked in. But yeah, when Liverpool calls, it's an easy choice to make.
Yeah, it looks a relatively easy choice to make, Arne. And when you come here, I mean, the one thing you can't afford to do is be intimidated by the past. However, there must have been a realism when you come here, you're stepping into the shoes of greatness. I mean, the coach that you take over from clearly left a remarkable mark, but even going back further, you go back to Shankly, Paisley, Dalglish, you know, all these guys, Joe Fagan. The history within the club, you were obviously very well aware of.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, if you have the ambition to work in the top, you always know you're going to be a successor of someone that was really successful. Mm-hmm. So if you go, there are probably 7, 8, 9, 10 clubs in the world who are seen as the best clubs in the world. If you go there, there's always a big history. There's always a great successor. So maybe what helped a little bit, was that the last season was Europa League and they ended up third. Mm-hmm. If I had to be a successor after they won the league or after they won the Champions League, would have made it even more harder. Yeah. I always say we as managers are to a certain extent important, but this club has always had very good teams as well. And Jürgen had a very good team, and I inherited a very good team from him. So I think it helped me that only the manager left and not 5, 6 or 7 players that were so important for their success over so many years left as well.
How important was it, Arne? Because, I mean, Jürgen, very successful, but in my eyes, a completely different character. You know, different qualities, just a different person. How important was it for you in your own mind to come here and be your own man?
Yeah, I'm almost happy that we are so different, because if you like more, or not if you like, if you are more of the same, people gonna compare even more. So maybe that helped. The difficult thing was not only that he was so successful, but that also that he was so liked. Yeah. And that is what people sometimes forget, because we are mainly judged on what we achieve, what we win. But he was also so liked with the fans, but also here in the building. And there might be a comparison that I wouldn't say I'm liked, but the way I treat people.
Well, I would. Allow me to say that. Allow me to say that.
The way I try to treat people and the way Jürgen did and still does, but not here anymore. People tell me that is quite similar. Yeah. But in terms of how we act and playing style is, I think, similarities as well. But there are definitely also differences, and that's maybe only helpful for us not to be compared every single time.
What did you think overall, looking back in last season? I thought your level of consistency was remarkable. I thought you were the best team in the league, actually by a distance, and I think the 10 points I think you beat Arsenal by proved that. Were you a little bit surprised? I'm guessing you were always aware of the talent you had in your team, but were you a little bit surprised just how consistent you were in the league?
Yes, to a certain extent, because I think the quality was already there. I just spoke about the season before I came, that was a season with Europa League, and there was a little bit of inconsistency, especially in the end of the season. And I think that was the main thing we had to add to the team, because so many games they played so well in the season before. So and consistency is 10 out of 10 times maybe the factor in success. So that's what we had to try to do. What I did was, I think everybody noticed this, I played a lot of time with the same players. Mm-hmm. And I think that cost us in the end of March also the League Cup final. Yes. Although Newcastle played very well, deserved to win, let that be clear. But it was in a period of time when we had to play Paris Saint-Germain away, Paris Saint-Germain at home, and that final. Now, at home we played outstanding, but away wasn't of our normal standards as well. And
they were terrific as well, man.
They were terrific, by the way, as well. But from November till March, that is the most difficult period here in England. And I think we won the league because I always was so consistent in playing the same players. Yeah. But it was also the reason why we were not at our best in those 2 weeks in March, except for the home game against Paris Saint-Germain, where we outplayed.
Absolutely. Were there any key moments in your league campaign, that you look back on and say, that was a big thing for us?
Yeah, a few. I think when you come in as a new manager, and I think we've beaten Ipswich and Brentford at home. Players are like, oh, okay. But then you go United away, and if you can win that in the new setting with the new manager, I think that then the belief after that game grew in the group. Okay, we can do something special. And then, of course, there were in the week where we played at home against City and against Real Madrid. Real Madrid was a team.
Brilliant that night. I was there. I thought Liverpool were brilliant.
Yeah.
It was also Jones and Bradley, fantastic that night.
Yeah, with his tackle on players.
Highlight one of the highlights of the season on Mbappe.
Yeah, but it was also the way we won the game at United, but also those two against Madrid and City at home. We won it in the way we wanted to play.
Yeah.
In the end, towards the end when we won City away, that was also an important moment because I think everybody was hoping for us to drop point. That would give a little bit of hope to other teams.
Yeah.
That game we won in a style that was actually not ours. We had to defend a lot. We had to sit back. We had hardly any ball possession, but we defended really well. So there were a few key moments in the season, I think, which maybe I forget one important one, Fulham at home, where we went down to 10 men.
Yeah.
And we actually deserved to win that game. We were pushing and trying to win that game. We were 1-0 down, I think 2-1 down, and still came back into the game. That was also, so yeah.
Do you know what I thought you handled brilliantly? And I was as guilty of it as any journalist. Rather than talk about the level of performance, which was great, we're talking about 3 players that are out of contract at the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's our job to get carried away with that, but I thought you handled that whole thing brilliantly.
Okay.
It couldn't have been easy, is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. Yes and no. The easy part of it was that these players played so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that helped. So they made my life a bit easier. If they would have dropped their performances or us as a team dropping points, everybody would have focused even more on the fact, you don't extend those contracts, blah, blah, blah. That's why they don't play good, or there's the team is unbalanced or unsettled because of that. But because these players did so well, they helped me.
Yeah, of course.
A lot with talking about it in the press. And unfortunately, Trent decided to leave, but two out of the 3 stayed, and all 3 of them had a very good season, and 2 of them are still with us.
Absolutely. Now you've won the title. Do you then get a chance to enjoy it? Do you a little bit of time to yourself? Can you go away with the family? Can you do a hobby or whatever it may be? Can you switch off?
Yeah, it would be hard for me to say that I didn't enjoy it because people saw pictures and videos of me.
See, that sadly goes with the territory.
No, I
think you've earned that.
Yeah. No, we all did, and I think even if you don't win anything, you still earn and deserve to have holiday because this job and not to be. No one has to feel sorry for me, but it is a hard job. Not only mine, every manager in the world of football, it is a tough job, and there are many tough jobs, but this one is also tough. So you deserve 2, 3, 4 weeks of holiday. And I could enjoy it because the club, and I'm part of the club, we did our homework really well in terms of the targets we had for the summer. So it wasn't like, okay, now we've won the league, now let's see who we want to bring in. That is also helpful if you work at such a big club with so many good people. I've worked at smaller clubs as well, not many, but maybe the first one I started. Then when the season stops, as a manager, you're probably even have to work harder because all of a sudden you need to sign players. But at this level, at this club.
See, I thought that was excellent. You know, strengthening from a position of strength.
Yeah.
You know, and getting the business done really early. You know, Isaac aside, the business was done very early, and I want to touch on that because the business that Liverpool have had been well documented and fantastic, right? Everybody talks about money. Everybody says, oh, they've spent this, they've spent that. Where do you sit in that?
But I can't blame people that they don't see or understand that we also bring money in because that's so exceptional in England.
Yeah.
Because every club never sells and only buys. So people here in England don't even have an idea that English clubs also sell players. Now maybe Chelsea at the moment is a little exception because of the amount of players they have. But we didn't have a big squad last season, and we did sell and brought players in, and that is such an exception in English football. What I learned from that is not that it's my thing, because the club is more than only me. But what is a better idea to do is keep your squad, add for 200 million, and nobody talks about it.
Of course.
A few players left because we thought it was the best for them, and they wanted to leave them as well. Now you're here at the club. If you want to leave and the right club is there, we don't keep you, then we are open to sell you. And then we brought a few players in as well, and I think we've brought, unfortunately, we had to bring one player more in than we were, than what was the plan. Yeah. And that's why our spending was even higher than intended.
I want to ask you about Arne, if I may. It was just an absolute disastrous situation. Disaster, horrific. How do you, as a coach and a leader, put your own grief to one side and handle the grief of a city, effectively? Never mind a team and a group of players.
Yeah, but what you were just saying, the grief of the city, that is what makes it for me so special to work at this club. Because to work at a club where there's success and there's a parade, of course this parade is bigger than any parade everywhere around the world. But the way they conducted the fans themselves after that tragedy, how much flowers there were, all the memorials, I can almost get emotional by thinking about it. It's unbelievable what our fans have done, and our players as well, the way they've conducted themselves in and around the funeral. And then we had to train again. And there are moments where I feel, what must his wife and his children feel now? Because it sounds so hard, but to a certain, no, not to a certain, our life continues. People expect from me that I prepare them forever.
Correct.
And that sometimes feels a bit difficult, knowing how hard it is for the family and for the parents, and the phase they are still going through and will go through for the rest of their life.
Well, I just say, in a disastrous situation, I thought the club and everybody handled it as well as you possibly could.
So, yeah, that's what I want to. So I said the proud I felt about how the fans reacted on it, but ownership in it.
Of course.
Owners are mainly criticised, and like managers, we are mainly criticised. But the way they've handled this situation by paying his wife and his children all the money from the contract is maybe people think it's normal.
No, I know. But I know it's not.
It is not in football.
Yeah. Go back to your signings. How do you handle? Is there a greater acceptance nowadays that it's not about 11? It's about 18, 19, 20. And although you want to play every game, is there a greater acceptance now from the players? Well, I'm not going to play every game.
I think a better acceptance, it's never perfect.
Yeah.
Back in your days and my days, I would almost say, the best 11 always played.
Yeah.
So then you couldn't talk about rotation or these kind of things, because there were also less games to be played. So back then it was much clearer which were the best 11 and then the ones that didn't play. Now, with all the teams that are playing to win something, if it's Arsenal, if it's Chelsea, if it's Spurs, if it's us, if it's City, if it's United, if it's Barcelona, Real Madrid, you cannot do the same anymore. You need 18 to 19. So that gives a better acceptance. Maybe if you don't play, but you still see someone playing, you're like, wow, he is a good player as well.
Absolutely.
Where in our days, when another one was playing, you was, he definitely dropped me. This is nothing to do with rotation or tactical reasons. So it is a better acceptance, but still, if you play Champions League, everybody wants to play.
Of course.
And I know this, and I also plan a little bit forward. Mm-hmm. But what I never do is telling them, okay, you don't play today, but you will play on Saturday, because you never know what's going to happen in that game. So, but there is a bigger picture, especially in this part of the season, where you want players to get playing time as well. Yeah. So at this moment of time, it's not always the best 11 that play, because if I only play the best 11 and one of them gets injured and then another one needs to come in, he will not be prepared for so much playing time. So I have to
balance it.
Balance it.
Yeah. You touched on the Champions League there, Arne. I'll ask you a question. I thought PSG, towards the end of the tournament, were fantastic. Yeah. I was at the game in Paris. They were 2-0 down against City. And it was as if somebody flicked a switch. And they went to a level of performance that was great against Liverpool at Anfield. How important in that tournament is it to peak at the right time? And also the question I'd ask you, is it an advantage for a team like Paris playing in a league which, you might agree, you might not, I don't think anything like as competitive as the league here?
Yeah, not as competitive. Still a strong league, of course. A good league, but not as strong as ours, because this is the strongest league in the world. You can also see it, how many teams are in the Champions League. So, but I don't want to take anything away from what they did last season, because that was outstanding. I think what did help them, and what doesn't help any Premier League club, is that we don't have a stop in December, a winter break. Yeah. And maybe it even helped them that they played 2 games against Stade Brest, which were, I think one of them they beat with 9-0, I'm not sure. So they had a rest period, and then they had games to peak afterwards. And they were in March when they played against us after the rest, Stade Brest, playing these games. They were, at that moment of time, I think they hardly conceded a goal, scored every game 3 or 4 goals. They were at their peak level, where we were maybe after the November break, and then in December, January, we played against West Ham, we played against Tottenham 6-0, 6-2, I don't remember the scores, but that was our best period. But then towards March, we were struggling a bit in terms of intensity. And because they had the winter break, they were like this, and we were probably going there. The good thing was, after the March break, we went up again, but then because we lost the penalties, we were out. Yeah.
One final question. I'm only giving you one pick. The league this year or the Champions League? You can only win one.
If I can only win one? Because I wait so long, it's so difficult to pick.
It's almost impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost impossible, but I think I would then go for the Champions League this time.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, listen, thanks very much.
I say it in a way.
I know. Just a final for me, thanks very much. I really enjoyed the chat for half an hour or so, and best luck at the weekend, and best luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Great to see you. Thank you.